All right, greetings everyone. It is I doing what is almost certainly maybe there's an emergency thing, like there's a big surprise or something like that. But almost certainly this is going to be our last video from this location. That's right, we are changing apartments to a newer, better, happier place, and that's pretty exciting for me. And so today we're going to be taking a look at JP's update. We're going to take a look at what is new and what is hot. And I'll tell you right now, Japan is definitely hot. It is, I want to say, let me just take a quick peek here without doxing myself. Not on. You listen to the number of typings, you might figure out. Anyway, 35 degrees without how like the wet bulb temperature. So yeah, pretty damn hot here. But we got some other stuff. So let's we're going to use Wotv to get through a bunch of this in a relatively timely manner. Wotv is back, baby. It is back to updating just as quickly as possible. So let's get through the stuff. And starting today, we're going to be starting off with the water ring, which, given that New Glassy is a pretty damn good water character, I will die on this hill. Let's take a look at the water ring +1. So 484 HP, 88 for attack and magic, 6 defense and 6 spirit. Basically hasn't really changed much from how the other rings have been updated. And here we're looking at fire, water resistance of 25 and 20% respectively, with evasion rate decreased of 20%. So a little bit of cost. Basically, the water ring just kind of states exactly the direction that water units are going forward, which is not towards evasion, which feels kind of bad, man, because honestly, I quite like farm, but this is just not the piece of equipment for her. Not the biggest deal, but is noteworthy. All right, so we have also 2 master abilities coming at us this week. First off, master ability 2 for regular Alaya, which is an increase of reaction block rate of 40, a chance to apply frostbite of 15, and an AoE resistance of 15 for herself, which is kind of an interesting mix. Like, frostbite is not something that I overly think about this unit doing. For whatever reason, it just doesn't happen that often. So here they're kind of pushing for more of a chance for frostbite, which is kind of cool, kind of interesting. I'm curious if it's enough. I mean, maybe you run her just with higher faith now to get that frostbite chance on your enemies. Could be pretty nasty as a little bit of a status effect. Reaction block rate of 40 increase is very good for just making sure that we're not getting countered by any of some of the stronger counters that are appearing in the game, and AoE resistance 15 means that she's pretty resilient to damage. Not like Alaya, but master ability 2s are very little in terms of like commitment towards upgrading, so it just seems good. Urel, on the other hand, for Master Ability 2, slash resistance, missile resistance, and strike resistance of 10, 15, and 20%, which is a really interesting mix. Slash is predominant in places, missile resistance against gunners, pretty nice, and strike resistance of 20%. So a very anti-physical and single target resistance too of 15. I just like it. I like both of these because they're, low commitment, high reward kind of thing, and they both feel pretty good for a master ability too, for some still fairly good units. I think more in one specific case, Alaya, but generally pretty nice. All right, next up, we're going to talk about upgrades to really old units. So these are the Limit Burst 2 upgrades. We've taken a look at some of them in previous videos, and we're now going to take a look at the rest that have been updated today. So 3, starting off with Rob. Move to unit panel, Dispel Protect, 200% chance for a physical attack of 20% for 3 turns, 200% mod, decreased chance of being targeted by 4, and CT increased 300. All this for the low cost 20 AP. And I have to say, this I actually quite like. Before, I mean, it's really not doing per se any extra damage, because essentially like the physic damage increase is at the end herself, as well as, you know, like the mod is staying the same, but you are getting rid of protect, which is kind of original and unique. If you take into that 200% physic is also improving the rest of his kit, which he's pretty close to actually activate maybe even some of the higher damage abilities, his chance of being targeted is decreased, which is interesting with tank, and he has a potential of getting another turn very quickly. All this for the low cost of 20 AP. I have to say, I quite like this. Now, going back and taking a look at some of the other things that he has gotten, like if you think about the main job, which has a dispel or dispel fatal damage, and you look at physical barrier removal and increasing slash resistance, penetration, and piercing damage on some of his attacks, it's kind of just an interesting mix with Rob. Now, I'm not going to go so far as to say that I think that this is something that everyone could go right into, but I'm kind of with the ignore sure hit and potentially building on an evasion as a pure samurai build in combination with the limit burst might actually be enough to make Rob relevant in some ways. I don't know. I'm going to be keeping an eye because I know some JP players who have upgraded Rob, and I'm going to take a peek and see if this is actually good enough. But in combination with all the other stuff he's kind of gotten, it's at least pretty interesting, and people have been using Rob's TMR, so I don't know. I feel like there could be something here, and I'll definitely keep an eye on it. So interesting is what I would classify Rob's as for now, until the concept's proven to me. Speaking of next up, one of the oldest 100 cost unit, because I'm sorry, Thancred is just not a 100 cost unit. See, sometimes I just work in a Thancred dig in the middle of a video. Taking a look, limit burst, break magical barriers, 200% chance for magic damage increase of 70% per self, increase magic by 40% per self, damage of 240 mod, 30% chance increase of hitting, with now a 67% chance of inflicting slow. Also at a lower AP cost of 43 AP. I gotta go so far as to say that this is another really interesting one. I was not super big on the previous batch of limit burst upgrades, but I am here mainly because, like, you look at this and this is a straight, really powerful upgrade on a limit burst. Rob might be a little more likely to happen just because, like, his evasion and sure hit evasion might be enough of a combo to keep him around to get that limit burst going and then really benefit off of it. You look at Gilgamesh, and Gilgamesh, like, he does have the preemptive counter. He does have some things of reducing damage to himself. It's curious to see whether it could get there. I'm a little more sketchy on this, but the limit burst seems higher payoff too. Like, it's a lot more damage now, and it's almost certain to do it against even anti-magic units, as a potential for the kind of ice slash identity that ice has kind of got going lately, or potentially ice magic with different combinations, including Stag Jaden. I'm going to say that, again, this is another interesting one. Again, want to see somebody else do it because I'm just carefully guarding my limit burst upgrading maps, but this is very interesting for people who have upgraded this character and potentially looking for an ice magic character. So I'm going to say Gilgamesh, another one worth keeping an eye on. Now, the last one is Miranda, and Miranda I have long since kind of not really done too terribly much. I haven't upgraded her, but I will say that she is way better than I give credit for in just a lot. of aspect. She's a really good defensive water user. Now, so limit burst upgrade now reduces chance for counters for 3 turns for enemies. 245 mod, so it actually deals more damage now. 67% chance for confusion has stayed the same. If confusion is in effect, decrease all elemental resistance by 30% for targets of confusion on it. So if you can land confusion with this, I mean, it is still 69 AP, so it is a fairly high cost, but this is pretty cool. The confusion status effect is pretty nasty. In combination with something else we're going to talk about, the chances of actually having confusion active, or at least having multiple instances of potentially getting confusion off, is fairly possible with this. So I'm going to go so far as to say that I actually like Miranda's the best, because she is a straight enabler. 30% elemental resistance down is a lot, and it is pretty nasty. And this is a very fairly defensive unit that can stay alive. And with water slash kind of defensive with the the new VC and everything like that, this is 100%, I think, completely realizable with the new beach VC that came out. So I'm going to go so far as to say that this is just straight great. I'm going to give Miranda my best limit burst upgrade, and probably the one that I might actually invest in myself. So now let's talk about that other thing. So the Dark Siren VC, which is new VC, 439 HP, 20 AP, 166 attack, is quite interesting. 4 defense and 4 agility. So overall, stat-wise, this is a pretty loaded VC. 4 agility is nothing to sneeze at. And with some defense and attack and HP and AP, this is just another top tier 90 cost VC card on stats, basically alone. Then, for losing 5 evasion, you're getting AoE resistance and critical evasion of 10 apiece on the specific unit, provided that they were water or earth. Both water and earth generally have some good defensive units that I think would like this. Dialdo, while being more of a magical character, wouldn't say no to this if this was your worst case scenario. Party effect wise, agility of 15%, human killer of 13, and strike resistance of 15. Not as incredible, but it is an agility card. It does allow dual elemental shenanigans to happen, and it is just generally a lot of good stuff here. So I'll go so far as to say that I think this VC is just straight great for water and earth, and an interesting combination for the two. So yeah, Dark Siren VC, definitely pretty nice. And last but not least is Dark Siren herself. So taking a look here, this is an 18 agility Esper, which is one of the faster Espers that we've ever seen. I think that 2021 is like the highest speed. So if you look generally at this Esper is pretty damn fast, which is already great. HP is fine, TP and AP are fine, I guess. Attack of 58 is already should be indicative of something we're going to say in a second. And a magic of 110 with dexterity of 85, luck of 76, and paralysis resistance of 25%. Now, this Esper does have a chance of inflicting confusion and paralyze. Two pretty nasty status effects. Not the highest percent chance of happening, but is at least pretty nasty if you can ever land it on your opponent. So, skill tree wise, this fills out the picture. Basically, water attack up as you would expect of 25%, single target resistance of 5, fire killer, increase magic attack, critical evasion, reaction block rate, with one other thing I want to come back to in a second, magic resistance, accuracy, evocation boost, lightning resistance, and at the very edge of the corner here, you can see increase reaction block rate and increase debuff effect weakening. So this is a really interesting Esper for a ton of reasons. If you're going this direction, you're already getting an extra source of reaction block rate, and not necessarily a small amount at 23%, if I did the math quickly. correctly. Reaction block rate of 12 is also pretty good in stacking with just other sources. And debuff weakening effect, if you include with the new Beach VC, basically your team is pretty debuff proof, especially whoever has this Esper equipped. And you look at just like magic attack, so Miranda, or just some other of the water mages would potentially benefit really interesting in totality from this. You can potentially go the magic resistant route, the accuracy route, or just straight water attack. This is a full water Esper, although being a water, primarily a water magic Esper, I think you could do water physical and still be general okay. Although, let's be honest, physical already has Odin's and Chaos Bahamut, so it feels this. I think this is an incredible combination. Everything that water has recently got is expensive together, but it is really, really effective together. If you look at combining different units together, different effects from different sources, this is just a ton of stuff. A huge short-term boost to water that I think will actually last a while. You're looking at debuff resistance, you're looking at attack power up, you're looking at just a ton of things, and potentially combining with Earth to really give a 1-2 punch against lightning elemental teams as well, including Bridalaya. So, long and short of it, I think that this is a really great Esper in BC. And so, to end an era of recording videos here, whether or not I do record one video or not, we're going to do this, we're going to spend 2k Lapis. I'm just going to go directly on this Dark Siren VC. I actually did the first step here for 1000 Lapis, and I ended up getting, what was it? A new VC, the one for Melnia, so good for gunners. Not so great for water, but fine. So we'll do this one. This is so yeah, this apartment has done me really well. I'm sure I've annoyed my neighbors to a relentless amount with recording videos at different hours and streaming at different hours. So apologies to them at the end of this video if I did, and if they didn't, I mean, I never got any noise complaints, so I guess I'm fine. But here we go. Let's just see if we get any kind of lucky. Let's do the Onegaishimasu. A little bit of shrine flavor there. Really have absolutely just burned through all my resources for the last little while. Alright, so we know for a fact that we got at least one extra rainbow, because that's a rainbow, so that's a rainbow, so cool. Let's see, we got that. Maybe one of these. We got tic-tac-toe, 4 in a row. Maybe. Do it. No. Next one. Close. Okay, the last one. Well, the bonus rainbow, we're not going to say no to it. Hey, it's Eileen, an Earth elemental character. Funny that. Anyway, not really too much else to say. I think that this VC is tippity top tier, as you would expect for a 90 cost VC. It's good that 90 cost VCs are as powerful. If they are going to have such high costs, they should definitely feel really cool to get. I also want to say that I haven't checked the shop yet. Apparently there might be a new item in there. There's a 120 unit shard selector in the shop. What are those pots in the back? Why don't I see those anywhere? What's with the T's, man? Why you gotta do that? Are they here? No, kind of. That. I mean, I guess I'm just extending this video at this point, but I've never seen those things, and I wasn't really aware, so I guess a mystery for next time. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video, probably from the new location. Later.